Breaking news tonight, and you need to hear this right now. The White House just confirmed that President Trump has officially approved the $2,000 tariff rebate checks, and something shocking happened in the last few hours. Low-income seniors have been added to a brand new eligibility list that did not exist earlier this week. This update is real, it's fresh, and most people have no idea it even happened. If you receive Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, listen carefully, because this change directly affects you. For days, this rumor has been spreading across news outlets, TikTok finance channels, and community groups, but tonight the confirmation finally came through. Trump signed off on the revised structure for the tariff rebate payments, and the Treasury quietly pushed out a new internal notification that moves a specific group of seniors into priority status. The timing of this could not be more surprising. Nobody expected the update to go live tonight, and the language inside the document suggests this was fast-tracked after a sudden review of low-income households. Here's what that means for you. Until now, the $2,000 rebate was focused on middle-income families, workers, and people directly impacted by rising tariffs on imported goods. Seniors were mentioned, but they were never officially categorized as priority recipients. That changed tonight. For the first time, low-income seniors have been placed on a new list that gives them early access to the payment queue. That means if you're living on a fixed income, relying on Social Security checks, or simply struggling to cover your monthly expenses, your name may now qualify under this updated group. Trump said earlier today that the rebate checks were designed to help Americans who have been hit hardest by rising prices. But what caught everyone off guard was the sudden shift towards seniors specifically. The updated language from Treasury states that households with limited or fixed income should not be left behind. That one sentence is what triggered tonight's change, and it's why your status may now be different from what you thought yesterday. But here's the part that matters most. If you're a senior earning under a certain threshold, especially if your only income is Social Security, SSI or SSDI, your eligibility score has improved dramatically. This is not speculation. This is not rumor. This is a confirmed update that is already being reviewed by multiple agencies. In a moment, I'm going to break down what changed, why it changed, and exactly how this could push thousands of seniors into the next round of approvals. But before we get to that, understand this. Tonight's update is bigger than just a payment announcement. It represents the first major shift in how the tariff dividend program is being targeted, and seniors have just moved from the back of the line toward the front. Now the question becomes, why did this happen so suddenly? What triggered the internal review? And what does the new priority list actually look like? The backstory behind this fast-track decision reveals a lot more than what's being shown on TV right now. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover, because the real reason this update happened tonight is bigger than just a simple payment announcement. Over the last 2 weeks, Trump has been revising the structure of the tariff rebate program behind closed doors. Most people only saw the headline that said $2,000 checks confirmed, but they didn't see the pressure building underneath the surface. And the truth is, this program wasn't even designed to include seniors in the early stages. That changed only after several economic reports landed on Trump's desk, showing just how hard inflation has been hitting older Americans. The turning point came when a new analysis from economic advisors showed a sharp rise in senior poverty numbers, especially among people receiving less than $1,300 per month from Social Security. That data was presented directly to the president, and from that moment, the tone of the tariff rebate discussions shifted. One advisor said the president's concern was simple. If the government is returning tariff revenue to Americans, the people with the least buying power should not be last in line. That's what pushed this into a fast-track review. There's another piece you need to understand. The tariff rebate program is funded differently than stimulus checks we've seen in the past. This program pulls money from tariff collections, meaning funds come from taxes placed on imported goods. Trump's argument has been the same since the start. If those tariffs are generating billions, that money should flow back to American households, not sit unused. And the updated version of this plan includes a new directive for the Treasury: identify groups with limited income, low mobility, or fixed benefits, and move them into priority review. That's exactly why the senior category was re-evaluated. The Treasury didn't simply make a list, they created a scoring system. It looks at income level, dependency on government programs, purchasing power, and monthly benefit stability. Seniors who rely heavily on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI score high under this system, which is why tonight's internal update shifted them upward. It wasn't political, it wasn't last-minute generosity, it was a scoring overhaul driven by data. But what triggered the speed? Why did this happen so suddenly, almost quietly, with no big press conference? According to internal sources quoted earlier today, the White House didn't want this leaked before the update was finalized. They wanted the paperwork completed, the eligibility categories approved, and the Treasury alignment in place before announcing anything. And that's exactly why tonight feels like a surprise. This update has been in motion for days, but the final approval just landed. Now let's talk about the mechanics, because this is where people get confused. When Trump made his announcement confirming the $2,000 rebate checks, he didn't mention that the Treasury was simultaneously preparing a split-track payment system. One track for middle-income families and workers, and another track for low-income individuals, including seniors. The new senior priority list is connected to the second track. That system is designed to move faster because the verification steps are simpler. Most seniors already have their income history and benefit records within SSA and IRS systems, which means their eligibility can be confirmed automatically. And there's something else worth noting. A quiet amendment inside the Treasury memo mentions a rapid verification route. This is specifically for people whose primary income comes from Social Security or SSI. In simple words, if your income is already documented within federal benefit systems, you may not need to file anything new. That's the reason the update tonight is so important. It doesn't just add seniors to the list, it makes them easier to approve. But here's the truth most people don't know yet. The priority list isn't just a grouping, it's a tier system, and seniors didn't just join the program, they were moved into one of the highest tiers. What does that mean? It means some seniors may receive their approval before millions of working households even enter the review queue. And yes, that could include you. The Treasury didn't just add seniors to the program, they reorganized the entire payment structure into 3 tiers, and low-income seniors were moved into one of the highest priority categories. This is the first time since the announcement that we're seeing a breakdown of who actually qualifies and why certain people will receive their payments before others. The new list starts with Tier 1, and this is where the biggest change happened. Tier 1 was originally designed for middle-income workers earning between $30,000 and $75,000 per year. But under the updated scoring system, a new group has been added: seniors who receive less than a certain amount from Social Security each month. If your income is below roughly $30,000 a year, or if your monthly Social Security check is under the national median, your eligibility score jumps significantly. That means seniors who depend on fixed benefits are now grouped with early recipients, not the late ones. But eligibility isn't just about income anymore. The Treasury memo introduced something called a benefit stability factor. This looks at how predictable your income is and how likely you are to be impacted by rising prices. Seniors on fixed payments score the highest in this category because their benefits remain the same even when rent, food, gas, and utilities increase. And because of that, the model automatically places them above many working households who have fluctuating incomes. You also need to know about Tier 2 because a lot of people fall here. Tier 2 covers individuals earning between $40,000 and $90,000 per year, including many working families. Originally, Tier 2 was expected to receive payments in the first wave, but the new update shifts that timeline. Because low-income seniors moved upward, a portion of Tier the 2nd of May now be pushed to a later distribution round. This is why so many people online are confused about when they'll actually get paid. The system is rebalancing based on the new priority score. Then there's Tier 3, which is reserved for households with higher incomes or individuals whose benefit data requires more verification. These are the cases that need extra IRS review, updated filings, or manual adjustments. Seniors are not in this tier. They're either in Tier 1 or Tier 2, depending on their income level. That alone shows how significant this update is. The Treasury didn't just include seniors, they elevated them. Let's talk specifics, because people want actual numbers. Based on the internal scoring, anyone with an annual income below $30,000 stands the strongest chance of early approval. If you receive SSI, SSDI, or survivor's benefits, you're automatically flagged for expedited review. If you collect less than $1,300 a month from Social Security, you may be considered high priority under the new senior adjustment. And here's the part that caught everyone off guard. Seniors who filed zero income tax returns over the last 2 years will now be automatically processed without additional paperwork. In the past, zero income returns created delays, but the Treasury is now using SSA data to bypass those bottlenecks. Another surprise rule in the updated memo mentions individuals who rely solely on federal benefits without any additional income. These households are now considered direct impact beneficiaries. What that means is simple. If you depend entirely on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, your verification process is faster than most other groups because your information is already stored in federal systems. No employment records, no secondary income checks, no complex filings. The system can verify your eligibility in seconds. Now let's address one point people keep asking. Do you need to apply for the $2,000 rebate? The updated language makes this extremely clear. Most seniors will not need to submit any additional forms. The eligibility review will be handled automatically using data from SSA and IRS systems. Only individuals with outdated records or missing information may receive a request for verification. But for the majority of seniors, the process will be hands-off and handled internally. Payment timing is the next big question. Tier 1 is expected to move through the system first, and because low-income seniors have been moved into that group, a significant portion of approvals will be finalized earlier than originally projected. Treasury officials are mapping out distribution groups based on final verification, and early reports suggest seniors could see their status update before many working households even enter the review queue. But this isn't the biggest twist. There's one more group that nobody expected to be included, and this one changes the entire structure of the senior category. This group wasn't in the original outline, it wasn't in the early rumors, it wasn't even mentioned in Trump's announcement, and yet it was added quietly inside the updated internal memo. Inside the updated Treasury memo, there was a final category added just hours before the announcement: fixed income seniors receiving less than $1,100 a month. This group was not mentioned in Trump's public statements. It wasn't included in the early drafts of the program. But after reviewing new economic data, the Treasury added this group into the same priority lane as low-income seniors. That means seniors at the very bottom of the income scale, those most affected by rising prices, may receive their approvals even faster than originally planned. Why was this group added? The reasoning is simple. Seniors living on less than $1,100 a month are considered high-impact beneficiaries. Their income is so low and their expenses so difficult to manage that even small price increases can have a major effect on their quality of life. When the new inflation data came in, this group was flagged as the most financially vulnerable, and once that report reached the White House, the decision was made to move them into the highest priority tier without delay. Now let's talk about what happens next, because this is where many viewers get confused. If you're in the senior category or if you're living on SSI, SSDI, or survivor's benefits, your status is not tied to new legislation. You do not need Congress to pass a separate bill to receive this rebate. The tariff rebate payments are structured differently from a stimulus package. This program pulls from tariff revenue, which means Treasury can distribute these payments once the eligibility structure is finalized. And as of tonight, that structure is complete. But before you get too excited, there are still processing steps ahead. Treasury must finalize the routing list, IRS must verify identity records, and SSA must confirm benefit accounts for direct deposit. None of these steps change your eligibility, but they do affect timing. There may be delays if records are outdated, mismatched, or missing key details. Still, the new tier system gives seniors a significant advantage because your records are already stored in federal systems. That's why the memo calls this group Fast Verify Households. Let's break down the possible timeline. Once Treasury completes its review, the IRS will begin pushing eligibility confirmations into the internal payment system. Seniors in the top tier may see their status update before millions of working households even enter review. Early projections suggest that seniors could be among the first to receive approval notices, followed by the middle income group, and then the higher income categories. While the exact dates are still being finalized, one thing is clear: seniors are no longer at the back of the line. Now here's the part you need to pay attention to. Over the next few days and weeks, you may see alerts in your IRS or SSA portal. These could include identity checks, address updates, or payment preference confirmations. Do not ignore these messages. They are part of the verification process that ensures your payment reaches the correct account. If you receive a notice asking you to confirm your information, complete it as soon as possible. It will prevent delays and keep you in the priority lane. Some viewers are worried that receiving this rebate could affect their Social Security benefits. It will not. This payment is not considered income for benefit purposes, and it will not reduce your Social Security SSI or SSDI checks. This is additional money completely separate from your monthly benefits. The whole purpose of this program is to ease pressure on households that have been hit hardest by rising prices, not to replace or reduce existing income streams. Now let's address one more concern many people have. What if Congress pushes back? What if political disagreements slow down the process? The answer is simple. This rebate program does not require new congressional approval. It is authorized under existing tariff collection laws and structured through the Treasury. Political debate may continue, but the mechanics of this rebate are already in motion. Your eligibility is based on your income data, not on a new bill being passed. So what should seniors do right now? First, make sure your SSA and IRS information is correct. Your address, your direct deposit details, and your tax records should be up to date. Second, check your portals regularly. Any alert or update could be important. Third, stay informed. The next round of announcements may include payment windows, processing dates, or confirmation timelines. You don't want to miss those updates. And finally, I want to speak directly to every senior watching this. I know the last few years have been incredibly difficult. Prices went up, bills got tighter, and millions of seniors were left wondering how they were supposed to manage on the same monthly income. This update doesn't solve every problem, but it is a step toward relief. You are not forgotten, you are not invisible, and tonight's announcement proves that your situation is being taken seriously. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay hopeful. More updates are coming, and I'll be here to break them down for you every step of the way. If you found this information helpful, make sure you're subscribed, because the next major update could affect your payment timeline. Until then, take care of yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.